Hello, I'm Carl DeSouze. Have you ever wondered what goes on behind a door marked private? Have you ever been tempted to go up that path marked no trespassing? Well, some of the most fascinating things in this life are an inside story, and you've probably always wanted to get at some of these things just out of reach. Now, what we're going to do is to take you behind many of the closed doors of the world to meet some of the people who live out their lives behind them. On this visit, we want you to follow us through State Prison Colony in Norfolk, Massachusetts. Population, about 900 prisoners, give or take a little. Founded 1927, and something quite different from the popular conception of a prison. Now, we're situated just off Route 1, about 30 miles southwest of Boston, Massachusetts. These massive concrete walls, you see, contain a virtual city, complete in itself, set up on 30 acres of rolling countryside. About 350 state employees are responsible for the operation of this unique plant. It is unique because this is a pretty hard prison to get into. The first entry requirement is that you have to be a felon. Now, in Massachusetts, that means that you have to have committed a crime against the state, punishable by a year or more in prison. Secondly, you have to serve out your apprenticeship at one of the other Massachusetts state's prisons before you get here. Now, if the screening board feels that you may safely become a member of society once more, you may get sent here. So if you'd like to see how you will live, let's go and get the inside story. All prisoners and visitors make their first entrance to Norfolk Prison Colony through this ivy-covered door. Inside, you find a waiting room as pleasant as the lobby of a hospital or a bank. Still, it is a prison, and the idea is just a little frightening. Compose yourself now, and look nonchalant as you face the guard behind the bulletproof glass. The guard gives you the once-over, and then slides out the forms every guest, temporary or permanent, has to fill in. Now, let's see. Name, address. Have you ever been convicted of a felony? Careful now. No. Well, that's done. Oh, wait. The guard has something to say. Don't touch any doors. Don't touch any doors? If you touched it, would you get a shock? Certainly makes you nervous standing here like a bird in an iron cage. Well, the door finally moves. The walls are mighty thick on each side of this passageway. Boy, they think a lot of security here. No one will ever try to leave through this passageway unannounced. Here's another door. And that one opens and brings us into a tiny cubicle. Oops, someone slammed the door. Well, I guess you're locked in, brother. Don't touch the door now. Boy, it makes you feel as if someone were watching you in this trap. Of course, no one is. Who would think of such a thing, except the guard? Phew. Well, it's good to be through and out in the open. Now off you go to the administration building. Hi, fellas. At last, the men we came to see. We are visitors, therefore Superintendent Coughlin is very pleasant to us and introduces us to our guide, Deputy Superintendent Mr. Edward Grennan. He will take us on our tour through the institution. Plenty of bars here, aren't there? It certainly looks like a prison. Nothing new about this. Push buttons open and close doors. But this one opens the old-fashioned way. Now, that's something different. Look, a cat in the cell block. It seems the prisoners can have pets. But everything looks nailed down. Bars on the windows, lights fixed so you can't get at them. Pretty bare, but at least you have a bed and a basin. It's no suite at the Waldorf, but it's certainly scrubbed to a Sunday polish. Deputy Grennan explains that this is where the prisoner spends his first 30 days, gradually getting used to this new idea in prisons. This is where you make your transition. And this is where you eat. Quite different from the long rows of tables in the big house, isn't it? You break in your prison diet on aluminum and tin. After the trial period, you may eat on crockery. When you have passed your first 30 days successfully, you may join the colony. Ivy-covered buildings which house and feed 50 prisoners each give these cell units the look of a quadrangle surrounding a college campus. Well, what's this? No bars at the windows? No, it's only an illusion. These early colonial small panes are actually strong steel sashes in front of plate glass. What's it like inside? At Norfolk, the prisoner works hard but relaxes normally with radio, uncensored newspapers, or perhaps he'll want to play chess. But this is the only place he'll make a move this big. You've got to be neat to stay at Norfolk. Appearances count a lot in both dress and quarters. Now here's a homey touch to your cell. You can eat vegetables you grow in your own garden. The men own their own tools in the hobby shops in the cellar of each unit. They spend their earnings on such things as that machine lathe, and they turn out some mighty handsome articles, such as this dollhouse made with all the fittings. And here's another product of spare time. The woodcarver probably lost money on the horse this was modeled from. More good companions. You can buy this model of a millionaire's yacht fashioned during an inmate's spare time. It's for sale with others like it for from $750 to $1,500. It's a scale model with a real motor. Handicraft, as you see, is a large part of rehabilitation. The spare time hobby often develops practical skills to be used when the sentence is up. This is how the management keeps track of you. If you leave, check yourself out and peg in the place you're going to, within the walls, of course. Here is the heart of the self-rule developed so successfully at Norfolk Prison Colony. The inmates elect representatives to a council which meets regularly to decide on issues concerning everyone in the prison. The deputy superintendent acts merely as an advisor, while the men allocate funds from undistributed store profits and deal with the complex problems which arise. Thus, every prisoner has a voice in many aspects of his daily life, but everything done here is subject to the approval of the administrative staff. In case you'd like to settle down with a good book sometime, there are some 90,000 titles here, all freely available on open shelf. A prisoner painted a picture of Washington for the library. The prisoner, no doubt, has learned to cherish his freedom as much as Washington did. Now for a book which will help you get away from it all. Let me see. Here's some fine escape literature. Good weather sports include bocce, a game from Italy, something like bowling. Sports, of course, are a big part of prison life, and the home team regularly plays excellent 11s from outside colleges and other institutions. These boys really know the game. And if you have a talent for gardening, you can use your green thumb here. But part of your rehabilitation is knowing that you're still in prison, and walls and guards with guns still surround you. Church services of all denominations contribute to the spiritual life of the inmate. A Catholic priest and acolytes are holding Mass here. Nearby, Protestant, Hebrew, and even Mohammedan faiths are accommodated. The shops. Prisoners may be paid for the work they do from the profits of prison industries, which furnish the state with many useful articles. Highway signposts, for instance. And here's a drill press in operation. Prisoners even make shoes. and all sorts of aluminum wares, such as this pie plate being turned. They manufacture shovels, galvanized pails, turn out cotton and woolen clothing, process tobacco, do upholstering, make license plates, and even turn out those cement urns that you see everywhere in the public parks. Rehabilitation means a close watch on physical as well as mental health. TV is the latest aid to a speedy recovery. See that? You're getting better already. Your temperature is going down, and you'll be back at work in no time. When you hear that signal, stay where you are, wherever it is. That means that the daily count is being taken. It's done usually at mealtime so as not to interfere with work, but it may occur at any time, in the shop or after you've gone to your room. And this fellow better find everything in its place and where it should be. At Norfolk, it's not hard to get the ear of one of the top men if you've got a problem. He'll stop and talk with you anytime. If the problem is deeper, you can have a counselor specially assigned to you. No screens or barriers separate visitors from inmates. Family visits are therefore natural and much less inhibited. The colony has felt that this emphasis on personal responsibility helps return the prisoner to life on the outside a much better adjusted individual. Even large groups of men may walk at will. As you see, no marching is required. This, then, is the inside story of Norfolk Prison Colony, an experiment in progressive prison control which has influenced penology all over America. Norfolk Prison protects society by turning inmates into citizens. You feel grateful that Deputy Superintendent Grennan has shown you what's on the inside, but you're as happy as any man who's had to stay a while that you're leaving. Well, don't trip now. It's a healthy idea to stay out of trouble. Watch yourself. After all, we went behind bars merely to get the inside story.